hope you are doing well. So for these next 2 weeks, what we're doing is going to take the rhetorical analysis that you've already completed and the rhetorical evaluation that you did last week, and we're going to combine those together to an entire analysis and evaluation paper. We'll talk through the specific details of that here in just a second, but I wanted to come on here and talk with you just about the upcoming schedule and then things to be looking for this assignment. So first for the schedule. So I went ahead and combined weeks 8 and 9 of the semester. So basically it's a 2-week phase, and I'm going to pull up our syllabus to show you that. So if you come here to this, I'll put this in student preview so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. But if you come here to, so this is what you'll see. You'll notice that I've combined weeks 8 and 9 here. And there's the objectives and checklist. And if you click on their instructional materials, you'll see the link for this video and then the updated syllabus. So what I want to point to in this updated syllabus is just the schedule that we have. And these dates are listed in a few different places, but just so you can have it all there for your information. So for this week, what you're going to be working on is writing the analysis and evaluation paper. And you're going to turn in that rough draft by the 6th, which is Friday. And then for next week, we're considering it a review week. So what you have going on there is you have the option to meet with me for one-on-one conferences. And in general, I have a, sorry, that's being weird there. There we go. In general, I have a pretty flexible schedule, which means I can work around whatever you need to. If you need to meet me on campus, we can make that happen. If you'd like to meet with me via Zoom, if that's more convenient, I can make that happen as well. I am on campus from 11 to 12 every Wednesday in 144 Liberal Arts, and I have virtual office hours from Tuesdays from 1 to 3 that we can set up any of those times or any time that's necessary. We can also go back and forth draft-wise on via email if that works best for you. The idea here is just so that you can have some one-on-one feedback from me about how your draft is going. So you'll turn in your rough draft by October the 6th, and then that's for this week. And then next week we will complete the peer review and the one-on-one discussions. Now peer review is going to look different this time because I think I've got the system a bit updated. I know that it was a struggle to get the information because, at least in part, because I did that double submission thing, and I have found a way to not do that this time. So I hope that is very helpful for you in both cases for reviewing your work, but also being able to review other students' work. So as we, sorry, I opened the wrong thing there. As we go here, you'll see that I've got learning activities here for the next 2 weeks. So I put the assignment here that we'll look at here in just a second. But in terms of schedule, you turn in your rough draft here by Friday, and if you'll click on start attempt. I put some extra points in here because I'm combining both the draft submission and the peer review. But here's what you need to do. You need to click start attempt, and then here I've put the assignment content and the peer review questions. So what you're going to do is submit, and here's an update to the schedule. You're going to submit your assignment like you've been doing, and then you will have the opportunity to do peer review. And here are those questions that I asked you to do. Now, you guys generally did I think very well on peer review last time, so we'll keep that process up and going. So once that is ready, I'm going to click here, and I'm going to submit a let's find, sorry, that's the wrong button. I'm going to click this attachment, and I'm going to go here, and here's the rubric in general that we used for this last class. So I'm going to save that, and then watch what I do here. So here I'm going to click as it's uploading. It's going to convert. And here's the big thing that you've got to do differently, because there's several people that struggle with this. You've got to click submit twice. So, and I know that, I don't know why Blackboard does it. It's a convoluted system, but you have to make sure that you submit it twice, because otherwise I can't see it. What it shows me is that you started a draft and that it's there, but I can't review it. And so what happens is, as this is converting, you can click submit. And after you submit, you can't edit the assignment. Do you want to continue? Click submit again. This is that second click to submit. And then this is what you need to see. Your submission was successful. And then, as you can just hear, I don't know if you just heard, I just heard my email told me that I actually got a submission back that says that you submitted everything, right? So here's what you need to see in order to submit to the assignment. One, you need to click submit the first time. That makes sure that it gets in there. Second, you need to click submit twice. That says you can't edit the assignment once you submit it again. And then you will get a confirmation both on the screen and in your email. Make sure you get those things so that everything will be available to you. Then once that's finished, close. And this is going to show us now. And then once there's nothing here because the assignment is not due. After Friday, when everybody's assignment is submitted, you will be able to come back here, click Start Peer Reviews, and that will bring up 2 of your classmates' work. The thing that was troubling before, and that you've got, that I think this will fix this time, is that you've got to submit before you can review anybody else's work. If you do that, then you should be fine. But as always, please let me know if you're having any issues. In general, I can do some things on Blackboard, but if your work's not there, I can't submit it for you. You've got to be able to submit it yourself. So if you have any issue with that, please let me know. I can even get on a Dropbox, a Zoom situation where we can screen share just to make sure that you have everything you need. I know it's a convoluted process. I wish that wasn't the case, but we have the hand that we've been dealt, so we'll learn how to work well within that system. So that's what's going on for this week and for the first part of next week. And as a reminder of the due dates, and they're listed in several places, I'm going to close that out. I'm going to bring back up our learning activities here. That the peer review itself is due on Wednesday of next week. So basically by Wednesday of next week, you will have reviews from your fellow students, you will have reviewed others' work, and I will have your draft back to you by Wednesday so that you can have that information to submit your final draft of the analysis and evaluation assignment by by Sunday, October the 15th. So that's everything that we're doing over the next couple of weeks. It's a pretty, I know it's a lot of steps, but I think if you walk through them one step at a time, you're going to be just fine. So let's talk for a little bit about what this assignment is looking for, because what I want you to see here is that everything that you've been doing to this point is leading to this assignment. It's similar to the narrative assignment, which I've graded and sent back to you, and you'll see that in a minute. So as we look at this assignment content, the main thing I want you to realize is that you are taking the next step forward. So you have situated yourself in the environment by talking about your personal connection to it. That's the narrative assignment. Now that you're talking about the topic in terms of what other people are saying, that's the evaluation portion. So, and then what will lead to next is the argument portion, where you will add a contributing voice to it of this is what we need to do. So you move from personal investment to public investment, and now we're seeing how to build an argument, and that you'll take that process forward going into your next writing environment. So pulling back up this preview, what the thing that I want you to unpack here is answering the question, what am I actually analyzing and evaluating? So I've had you look at different articles. I've had you look at TED Talks. I will give you the freedom to pick something. I recommend this website right here. And think I'm not going to assign it directly. You're more than welcome to use anything else outside of this website, but you need to clear it with me first. This website is pretty well cleared. And what I like most about this website is that it has some definite appeals in it, and you can search for whatever topic you want. So let's look up the idea of poverty, because a couple folks are writing about that. And I think you can start looking here at some different articles to this topic. Now, in most cases, let's see, here's one that is from 8 years ago. So immediately you've got some timeliness issues, but that's okay because you can explain how those arguments are still relevant today, or how they are or how they need to be brought forward. I'm going to sit back a little bit because you guys do not need that close a look of my face. Sorry, I was that much closer to the computer. So you can read here, but one of the things I want you to look at is, one, They have some information generally about the author, right? So here's a research associate from the University of Pittsburgh, and you can evaluate their credibility and things in there. Plus, the articles are not too long for them to be useful, right? You won't get so locked up in the midst of all of the information, but there usually is enough substance for you to evaluate whether or not their information is going to work. So I've given you that on the assignment. I think I will go ahead and I don't know why that's not opening up. I will go ahead and give you a link to that in Blackboard as well. So that's the conversation, and it's a really helpful place for you to get a topic from. So as I mentioned before, if you want to use a different source, you are welcome to, but I would like to clear that source for you first. So that means that you've got to get that source to me pretty quickly so that I can evaluate it for you. So here is the content. So once you have your source, we're walking through exactly the things that you've already been doing these last couple of weeks. So as I look right here, let me get out of the way. There we go. You've got three kind of key areas that you need to hit, and I would recommend structuring your paper to go through the areas in this way. So if you start at the rhetorical analysis, you're explaining the genre of the conversation, that website, and who's writing, what their purpose is, the overall message that they're doing. And then you could start talking about in the evaluation how effective their rhetorical appeals are, before finally getting to this point where you're explaining how their solution is going to work. So you're doing an analysis and evaluation of the environment they're in and what they're responding to, those things that you've already been doing in this class. And you want to give an idea toward if they provide a solution, then what sort of solution they're able to give for your problem. So back to the assignment sheet. You can see that I'm asking you for 3 to 5 pages double spaced, and I think as long as you're integrating your sources correctly in that way, and what I mean by that is really working in depth with them. So feel free to use quotes, feel free to engage with your ideas a little more. We talk a little bit, sometimes I know in this class, but in other writing environments, of the principle of show rather than tell. Instead of just saying the author mentions or the author talks about this particular issue, show how the author talks about it. If you say the author appeals to logos, give an example that illustrates how the author is appealing to logos. You'll find that 3 to 5 pages is not that difficult to get to if you're really engaging in these 3 key areas. I'm going to turn, sorry, it's always backwards to me. So walk through this. This could be your first big section, second big section, third big section, and then if you want to start with an introductory statement that says what's going on in the world or why this topic is important, and then a conclusion that leads to how you might involve your own perspective in this. I think that could actually work. In fact, I'm going to add that here. So we could say what's happening, the idea of being like, what's your rhetorical investment, or what we would call like exigence? What's prompting your desire to do this? What's happening in the world and to prompt this discussion, or context? What's just happening in the world at all to why this conversation would be important? And then your next step is your possible solution. So, and you're going to develop this more in the next assignment. Essentially, the transition from this assignment to the next one is we're going to go from a projection of why their solution is not going to work or why it's working to how you're going to contribute, and then we're going to explore that in the next assignment. So I've just laid out basically a structure for you to write a 5-paragraph essay. Now, you do not have to follow this structure, but I know oftentimes having a framework from which to work can be good. So if I were you, I might write this assignment just like this, and then perhaps riff on it and change things up. Ultimately, I'm worried about whether or not you're accomplishing the goals of the assignment rather than whether or not you followed my method exactly. However, I will say that this is a pretty effective method for doing what you want to do. So that's what's happening in these next couple of weeks. I recognize that we, as is designed in these online classes, we're moving rather quickly. So just as a quick reminder of the types of terms that you can use in this assignment, you want to think about the rhetorical triangle between the author, the audience, and the message. Sorry, message goes in here because the purpose is here. There we go. And these are all items that you can use in your discussion of rhetorical analysis, right? And so you have these things happening. You can explain how that's working and using terms like we talked about: exigence, the reason for writing, and context, what's happening in the world at any given moment, right? That what's prompting the specific response, and then what's generally going on in the world. Both of those can be useful terms to help you. And then you want to think about the rhetorical appeals. The ones we talk about, mainly are ethos, logos, pathos, terms of credibility for ethos, and how an author presents the information. What sort of reasoning does the author use to support his or her point is the appeal to logos. And then emotional appeals. Now, some of you, when dealing with the emotional appeal, have mentioned this is a place where an emotional appeal would be effective, and the author did not use one. And then where I saw it really done in a couple of papers was you said, but it didn't work for that genre because the genre doesn't call for it. Or some of you said, which I think was quite effective as well, actually this would have worked really well for the genre we were working in. So you guys are showing some proficiency in using these terms. So just keep that going. You're going to do fine with this assignment. I mean, again, it's just keeping moving. So, and a bit about scheduling, we'll talk about in a second. So as you're working through this is all new, not new. This is all pretty familiar to you at this point. But I know that we've been moving awfully fast through this material. So email me. Let me know if there's something that's just not clicking through. I'll be happy to give you some more feedback. And if I catch it from a number of folks, I'll be happy to record even more videos that explain more of these concepts to you. So I hope this is helpful for thinking about, one, what this paper is. Think about the paper as what you're going to execute. Think about all of this information right here as the tools that you can use to execute that assignment. So as I do know from your email, speaking of assignments, I have returned your the narrative assignment to you, and I said in there that if you want to revise that paper, you can do so if you want to send it to me by this upcoming Sunday, which is October the what is today? What's the first? October the 8th. That is this coming Sunday. You're welcome to return those to me for revision. Now, the way revision works is you'll have a chance to revise, and you can get a completely new grade. There is no cap on the grade you can get in revision. What I would suggest to you is that revision is far more than just correcting grammar and punctuation errors. So as as you're reviewing this work, as you're reviewing your grades, you'll notice that I gave every one of you a rubric. That rubric is there for you to see the general way that your assignment was graded, but also to give you my specific advice and feedback on how to improve your grade. So that's where you really need to live in where you need to improve this paper. You'll have all the information you need. If anything is not clear, please let me know. I promise you, it sounds clear to me when I say it out loud, but that doesn't always mean that it sounds clear to you. So review the rubric. Make sure that you know exactly what you need to do to improve this paper and turn in that revision by next Sunday. So in order to turn in your revision, you have to email it to me. Blackboard is kind of weird about how they do revisions, and so you just email it to me, cmoody@aum.edu, and email me if you have any questions or concerns. So in light of that, going back to weeks 8 and 9, to the objectives and checklist. One, outside of watching this video, here it is, you're going to watch the week 8 and 9 video. There it is. You're going to complete the rough draft of your assignment and evaluation, turn it in by Friday, October 6th. You're going to complete the peer review of 2 students' work by Wednesday, October 11th. Complete the final draft of your analysis and evaluation paper by Sunday, October 15th. I know we're doing 2 weeks of material at once because we're really focused on completing this draft. Please let me know if you need anything. Ultimately, I can only help you if I know where you need help. So let me know so that I can help you. And in the meantime, I'm already starting on those rhetorical evaluation assignments that you completed for this weekend. Those will be back to you by the end of this week, and so that you will have that information that you can use as you're continuing to work on this assignment. So, draft by Friday, peer review next Wednesday, following draft in by Sunday. I hope you guys have a good week. Please let me know how I can help you. Take care.